we want to understand from the ladies' perspective, kama ilivyokuwa last Friday, and especially from, you know, young ladies, that is the youthful ladies. But pia, we also like to hear from you. Wewe ambaye labda ni mzazi, you are that lady, you are that gentleman. Now you feel that you are that ideal man. Tell us, what are the indicators of that ideal man? You can talk to us katika 0721-105-105. That is katika our WhatsApp number. Unaweza kutuandikia pia katika pale SMS 23814. Yes, 23814. Tell us what are the indicators of an ideal man. Na kama vile nimesema kwamba siku ya leo siko peke yangu. Yes, mimi naitwa Mwenene David. Now of course, kwanza I'll be having one guest kwanza hapa. Niweza kumintroduce kwanza. Kwanza atuambie, by the way, atuambie yeye ni nani. Na it seems like the guest we have today, sitaki kusema ya kwamba amekuwa kama holiday guest. Kwa sababu nilikuwa naye hapa tena I think that was last year. Yes, that's during the Christmas season, the Christmas holiday. Tulikuwa naye hapa tena leo Good Friday tuko naye hapa tena. Na that time tulizungumza mambo mengi tu about what we expected men to do and to chip in the festivities and their role in the family wakati kama wa holiday, watoto wako nyumbani. Sasa leo tuko naye tena hapa, mwalimu na pia an educational psychologist. Najua kwamba mambo mengi ataweza kutufunza. Kwanza, karibu sana.
Thank you so much,
yes,
David. My name is Helen Gige. As you've heard, I'm a holiday guest officially on this good Friday.
Yes.
I'm happy to be back. I'm a teacher, yes, and an educational psychologist. And as you said, a young mother and a wife.
Yes.
And today we're discussing about the ideal man. And when we are discussing about the ideal man, it's good you talked about a man,
yes,
and not a boy. Because there's a big difference between, yes, a man and a boy. So there are some expectations,
yes,
that we have. And in this society, of course, it varies from depending on the cultural context and diversity.
Yes.
So it depends with how you view it. But generally, kuna venye tunaona a man should supposed to be like this and not like this. So that, yes, is what we'll be discussing today. Thank you.
All right, karibu sana. And now, you know, as a mother, you have what I'll call first-hand experience ya kudil na mwanaume. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out well. And niseme hivi, you know, people have different thoughts and perspectives of men, and especially now ladies who have not yet crossed that boundary, bado hawajaingia katika ndoa. Now maybe as a preliminary remark, what would you say, maybe with expectation, not necessarily basing it on your case, yeah, basing it generally na wale ambao either wale hawaja cross the fence na wale already bado wako on the other side of the fence. What would you say about the varied expectations that ladies have of an ideal man?
Okay, I can say that ladies generally are talented. I think there is a time we were talking and we were looking at how ladies are able to know. You know, tumebarikiwa na what we call the sixth sense. So when we look at you, yes, there are some things that we are able to see that even you yourself might not be aware of it. And first of all, we begin with your character. Like character is so wide such that we are looking at generally how you behave, what is your your passion, your vision. So as a lady, we are able to see like this character, we are able to see in 3-4 years this is what will become of him. So as ladies, I can confirm,
yes,
that generally we look at the character, not necessarily the looks, but there are some indicators that can tell you that this person tomorrow will be like this. So you might not know it, or you might know it, but there are some things that we can look at. For example, responsibility. I had Sly discuss that, and she's so knowledgeable. I think the man she's going to get better be very careful because we normally have a list of our expectations. But of course, not all of them could be met, but then we look at the most important ones.
Now, before we look at maybe how even to, you know, there is a way even to determine which are the most important and how you rate the most important. Because if there has to be something important, then there must be a scale that you rate them. And you know, again, there must be kuna zile zinaitwa the parameters zile unatumia kuweza kupima. This is the most important. You know, jana I was talking to somebody jana, and akaniambia kwamba in looking at responsibilities, looking at activities, kuna zile ambazo ni urgent and important.
Sure.
Kuna zile ambazo ni important but not urgent.
Exactly.
Kuna zingine ambazo sio urgent na si important. So if something is not urgent and not important, you strike it out.
Yes.
Now, before we even come to knowing what are or rather how to rate or how to gauge the tools you use to measure ni kama iko most important ama not very important ama not urgent. Maybe let's first come to that. How will you know that it's the most, or how would you rate the most important things? Maybe 2 or 3 ways to rate the most important.
I'd start by saying that no one is perfect, and therefore there are some things that can change, while others is very difficult. Someone helped me by telling me that when you're looking at a man, you look at the things that you can tolerate and the ones that you cannot. So it normally gets worse. If this person maybe is a social drinker, the moment akipata hiyo target yake anakuwa worse, anakuwa alcoholic. Because sasa you tolerated that, now he goes to the extreme. So you look at what you can tolerate, and this is what you are asking me about the list of importance. So like, can you tolerate this? Can you not tolerate? So if you look at, for example, his character, and you see maybe he's not disciplined, let's say financial matters. So you find that if you can tolerate that, then it might end up becoming even worse when you get married.
All right.
Yes.
And now, because we have Pastor Wagala in the house. Karibu sana, Pastor Wagala.
Thank you, sir.
And you know, Pastor Wagala is a counseling psychologist.
Yes, sir.
Now that tunazungumza about this man, the ideal man, and Madam Helen here is telling us that one of the things that a lady needs to do, even to be able to get that ideal man, is to rate some, you know, matters in order of importance. Like there are some indicators ama some characters ama some attributes. Angalia unasema ya kwamba number 1, sijui kama the tall, dark and handsome iko hapo, maybe the tall, the dark, the handsome. Now 6-figure salary,
That's important.
very important, right? 6-figure salary. A man that is financially stable. A man, okay. Pastor Wagala.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that the kind of an ideal man that we have today?
Well,
or that we should be looking towards?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I think there is an ideal man, and then also we have the man in the ground. Vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. Vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. But we bless the Lord.
Amen.
So I think I agree with Madam Helen that ladies have some very unique characteristic. They may go for a man, their dream man, an ideal man, and what they're seeing is beyond the man, is beyond the stature, is beyond those other things.
She said that they have the 60 sense.
Yeah, there's that
and the third eye. That
yes.
sees things that we don't even see.
Exactly.
So normally they are able to see the vision. Hii mutu itanipeleka wapi? It's not about even their appearance sometimes. It's not even what, but if the man is having a vision, that's what even the ladies can see. But generally, an ideal man is that man that God made. For those of us who are religious enough, that man that God made. You know, God in his own idea, when he made Adam, he put everything in that man. So that man is having all things, but now that is inborn. That man, that ideal man that we are talking about,
those are inborn attributes.
Inborn attribute before they are corrupted.
Yes.
You know, the corruption comes with the environment, comes with other things. But I basically agree with her that ladies are able to see that ideal man, and they are able to go for this person. And sometimes you look at it and then they say, somebody can even make a comment from outside, say, what did Ellen see in this? What did Ellen see? Ellen saw the vision. You know, a man who has a vision is the man that can, you will meet this man. The Bible says that mark the righteous man, his end. Not the current situation. So meet this.
So we should be looking at the man, not from today.
Look at men. If we have the vision, then we can deliver. After 2-3 years, meet me again, and you will see that there is something in me.
Unajua, boy child kuna venye ameumia kidogo.
Ni kweli.
And right now there's a very hard narrative yenye inaendelea huko nje. That ni kama unajua anasema pia soko imechafuka. Sijui kama you've heard that. First I know you are counseling psychologist na umekutana na mambo mengi hapo nje.
It is true.
And now this man unajua the ladies might be hunting this man. But I think also this man ought to have some kind of an eye ya kujua even how to be chosen or how to choose. Yeah,
I totally agree with you because you see in the Bible there is this Proverbs 31 woman. But then, so there are these things that she does. She wakes up early in the morning, she's responsible, she's hardworking. But then actually the men also are just supposed to be exactly like the woman. Hardworking, all those characters, disciplined, God-fearing, praying for the family. You know, you are the priest in that house. So you have the responsibility of praying for your family, working hard to provide for them, and all the other, you are like an overseer. You see, when you are talking about, now these are like a structure. So there is an overseer, there is a manager there, who is the wife, and then you assist each other, you see. So in this case, you're supposed to complement each other. So there is no way I can be the Proverbs 31 woman, and then the opposite is true for my spouse.
There is no Proverbs 31 man. Now, Pastor.
Yes, sir.
Today, kuna mambo mengi ambayo yamezungumzwa regarding character ya wanaume. Now, if you followed last week's proceedings, last week's program, now there is something that the ladies in the house walisema. Wakasema hivi, that wanaume wengi, they are able to put on a character just to achieve a certain objective. Anakuja naongea na anasikiza Helen. Now supposing now Helen is a girl, haja olewa bado. And then anakuja Helen, by the way, what kind of a man do you dream of? And then Helen anasema, unajua mimi wacha nikwambie, number one, responsible, mtu God fearing. From that day, act. Do we have actors in men?
Yeah, it is true. You know, like they say the bad boys. Sometimes whatever they say, some ladies fall for that. But I'm seeing this connection between the male and the female character in this situation, where we are talking about the ideal man, those attributes that the man need to have from the word go, that leadership, offering the leadership. But now I think the society, there's a lot of disconnect in society. The way we are raising up our young people right now, and even the ladies. I think I'm old enough in this nation. I saw the campaign about the femininity from the early 80s. when the ladies, the girl child was more, the process was started in a big way from the Beijing conference. Ladies were being empowered. That empowerment has come at a cost. I can say that without fear of any contradiction, because now the likes of Wakina Helen are becoming so powerful. And the man is getting so threatened. So instead of giving leadership in the house, the lady is expected to do everything. But now, biologically or spiritually, the way we know, ladies are wired to be led and to be shown the way. That's how they have been wired. So basically, this man anapotea hapa katikati. Na anapotea katikati kwa sababu society is also, there's a breakdown. When we were growing up, I'm not very old, but I'm not a teenager. When we were growing up, anybody would discipline you.
Yes.
In fact, I almost dropped out of school on a very flimsy ground. But the uncle who got me in the bush when we were hiding there, the two of us, because of ile kening ukichelewa shule, alitutimua na ukiboko afadhali ya shule. Unaona? So we have been able to be molded and we take our place. Yes. But there's a broken down in, especially in the parenting and the intimidation of, and ladies also, because of the empowerment, can be too intimidating. Especially if they are earning 6 figures salary and you are doing less. You know, they can be very intimidating. And then the boy child, we still need the ideal man, but mambo kwa ground kweli ni tofauti. Men are showing like they don't have that capacity to lead, and because now they don't know, their space has been taken because they are not able to provide. Because an ideal man is supposed to be a provider. An ideal man is supposed to lead his family. Ideal man is supposed to show that some element of masculinity. You know, you have to show that ukitoka nje mtu akuja hapo unasema hapa nitamaliza mtu na hata una hata nguvu hiyo, lakini ile authority, ile you act very authoritative. That is the supposed to be an ideal man. Lakini now siku hizi vijana yetu wanatuangusha pia, but we give it to them. That's why we are having such a program like this one. Yes. And thank you so much for even thinking about an ideal man, my brother.
No, thank you so much.
I think I'll just have to defend that straight on, because at the end you said that these people refuse to be molded. You know, you must rise up to the occasion also, because you don't expect, and you see, I said the Proverbs 31 woman, so you must compliment her. So if you refuse to be molded, if you refuse to rise up to the occasion, then utakuwa intimidated, my friend. Yes.
Well, you see, I would want to say that our ladies are doing well. You know, the Bible gives too much is been given, much is expected. The Bible expects women. Proverbs 14. Mama mwenye mpumbafu ndio anaharibu nyumba yake. Anaharibu nyumba yake.
Yes.
So the standard is so much high for the women than even for the men. But that's not an excuse.
Now let's come to this. Before we even come now to the woman bringing down her house, has the man been able to build the house in the first place?
Yes.
Okay.
Because again, when we are now looking at, because the question that we are asking and we are seeking to answer today, now when we are looking at this ideal man, now what are the indicators of an ideal man? That you look at this man and you can say that this is indeed an ideal person. That this is a person that we should emulate as a society. That you can talk to the class 7 boys, that you can talk to the Form 1 boys, that you can talk to the young men that are exiting university and tell them that if you look at this person, ukiangalia huyu mtu, then you'll get a perfect image of who a real man ought to be.
So I think tumetoka kwa hiyo context ya kuchagua, because you see there is that choosing the right partner, and now we are in marriage. And you see, there are some things that before and after might be different. So when now, sasa umefika kwa nyumba, unaona? So unakuta ule mtu umeoa, maybe ako above you, ana earn more than you, like Pastor Wagala said. Unakuta this person ako hardworking. So that's why now we have to look at it as in as a man, utafanya nini to keep your game, unaona, kukua top of the game, because sasa umeoa uko kwa nyumba. Sasa tunataka hapo from there, now how do we look at it?
You give direction. Okay, like a man, I think the way we have been wired, basically we are supposed to give leadership. We're in our houses, we're supposed to give leadership. We're supposed to give that direction. And the most important thing for a man is that if you are a provider, and that is why any lady will tell you outside here, pesa ya mwanaume ni tamu. Hata kama na 100,000 na wewe umetoa hiyo 10,000 ya shopping. Pesa ya mwanaume wanasemanga ni tamu, ni kwa sababu gani? This thing is more spiritual than physical. Because I'm supposed to be a provider. And when I'm a provider and that ego of the man. Lakini ukuje nyumbani, upate the empowered lady, the empowered woman. They also need to play well. Because the whole idea in the Bible is submission comes first before that love your wife. Women, submit to your man. Then after that, the men are being warned. Love your wife. So submission brings automatic love.
So which one comes first?
Submission first. Then when you are submitted to me, and I see you respect me, and I see you are I'm giving leadership, and you are there to compliment me, I will love you automatically.
But I thought if men love it, it'll almost be automatic for the women to submit.
No, not really. You know these things, especially when you don't play the ideal man situation in the house. Some of these things will not come automatically, but we challenge the family because we are pro-families. We challenge the families that it is good because these things, there are ups and downs. But basically, you cannot rule out the facts that it is important for this house to be built by the two of you. And the ladies have been given the highest standard. Nyumba ikiharibika, according to the Bible now, okay, it is debatable. Ladies are more responsible because they are supposed to build their houses. That is why I challenge ladies who are outside there. And my sister who is here, it doesn't matter how powerful you are, how empowered you are. If you are there to build your family, if you are there to build your house, you're there to raise your children. And there is something psychological about the presence of man in the house. It's not about even sometimes the provision. We try, but a man being there, the father figure, being around there, you know there's a difference. Utapata mtoto anagi una mama lakini wewe ukiapia tu nasema nani wewe hiyo sauti ndio anajiko lakini ameagi una mama yake karibu 30 minutes. So I've not brought any bread, but the authority God gave me to lead the ideal man in that place.
So now let me then ask this question. What's the role of masculinity?
Okay, I think it's just the figure there, because we talked about being the priest in that house, and Pastor Ogala has said about giving directions. So you see, supervisor hata si ati ni kazi mingi anafanyaga. Yeye tu ni kucontrol. Anasema wewe kapo, wewe enda pale. So you see, like that is now what we are talking about.
You know, I once had a discussion, and I think it is a clip that I watched after, I think it was in a certain forum, and somebody said this, that you know, if a man does not take his ideal place, and the woman is empowered, the only thing left that he has is the brute strength. So ile tu kitu anakuwa amebakishwa nayo ni ngumi.
Na hiyo ngumi inaweza kuwa imebakisha, but a wise woman will also try to give this man the space. A wise woman, the Proverb 14, a wise woman. Sitaki kulalia wadada sana lakini a wise woman.
Yes.
You know, if this man the issue is kwamba with this economical hardship, maybe amepoteza kibarua yake, maybe alikuwa na kiosk kwa highway na kwa bypass imeanguka chini na all those kind of things. We need to understand, because sometimes ladies are very, very technical in the sense that ukipata mama afanye vitu zingine kwa nyumba na afanye consistently, lazima language itageuka. Language itageuka hapo. And that is why men wanajaribu sana. Hata kama uko na kidogo lakini inaonekana. So that masculinity does not need to translate into mangumi. That masculinity is the security of this home. Normally, if something happens in the wee hours, nani anatokanga nje kwanza? Nani anatoka nje? Nani ajibu? Nani anatoka nje?
Of course it's the man.
The man.
Yes.
Anatoka nje kwa sababu gani? This is a man who is ready to defend.
You're exposing him to threat.
No, he's ready to defend his family. He's ready, that masculinity. So this masculinity is not misplaced. I'm there to defend. Hata kama sikuleta mkate jana usiku, lakini nimetoa hapa, hata watu wakisikia hiyo nasema nani yuko hapo nje?
So I'm also a provider. Only that I did not provide food.
I did not provide, but I've provided security here.
Yep.
Now, in fact, itakuwa is a plus for my family.
Yes.
Hata ile kwa kukuruma tu na unajua men, we have a lot of confidence in other things. Okay, money gives us more confidence, but naturally the ideal man, we are supposed to have to display the confidence of God, the authority God has given unto us.
Yes. So, Madam Helen, maybe in a few seconds before we go for this break.
I totally agree with that. In fact, they normally say that ladies walk on the left when you're walking together, so that in case something comes,
I have my right hand.
The right hand. So he's the defender. So you earn respect for that.
So that's why we talk about my right hand man.
Yes.
I have a right hand man.
So you mkono inanyorosa.
All right, thank you so very much. Now, this discussion that we're having here is on the ideal man. And we're asking this question: what are the indicators of an ideal man? And in the house, I have Pastor Wagala Hodari, and he's a counseling psychologist. And I have Madam Ellen Gige, who is an educational psychologist. And here we are tunaangalia haya mambo na kujiuliza, how are we able to align our society and the values within the society ziweze kuingiana, so that we may have a more cohesive and a prosperous society and families that work. Usiende mbali, we'll be back after the short break.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Coming soon on MBCI Television.
Don't yell at me like that!
How do you want me to yell at you? Where do I yell at you from? Tell me, Emana, so that I can go to that place where I get to yell at you, where I get to say my piece.
We mwanamke, wapi pesa yangu?
You have no idea how painful this is.
I can't just understand why we have to go over this again and again and again.
Lazarus, come out.
I don't care whether it's needed or whatever you got to do. I just want to get enough sufficient iron.
Leave my family out of this.
God is watching us making terrible choices.
My name is Odhiambo Olale. I'm a journalist by profession, media consultant. Journalism, I decided to pick on journalism. I think it was in our blood. Because it goes all the way back. My mother was a journalist. She was a columnist in 1962.
Wow.
When she had a column in the Baraza newspaper. That was a sister newspaper of the Standard newspaper. Yes, and I think also that storytelling has just also been just part of our family, special documentation. I have 6 pages of photo gallery. The oldest photo was taken 1926. 1926.
kusoma nikiwa mdogo juu ya changamoto ilikuwa mingi kwa familia, na tena nililelewa kwa familia ya watoto wengi, tulikuwa wasaba, na wazazi pia walikuwa waelewi mambo na masomo ya msichana.
Niko na mke kweli ambaye anaweza kusimama mbele ya wanaume na kuongoza, kuhutubia na kufanya vitu mingi, na hako na courage, hana yote ya kusimama na watu.
Phyllis alikuwa anang'ang'ana, but unajua sasa kama mwanafunzi ambaye miaka imesonga kidogo, kuna vile tulikuwa tunamhandle, tunamwelewa zaidi kwa sababu kwenda nyumbani ako na majukumu hapa na pale, anang'ang'ania watoto wake pia, lakini hiyo haikumfunga. Still alikuwa anajaribu kufanya kazi yake kulingana na uwezo wake.
Ni jambo mbaya msichana akipata mimba ama aolewe mapema na maisha yake ishi hapo.
Your Fridays will never be the same again.
God is calling you, God is calling us. Mungu anakuita tumkaribie.
Join Pastor Esolom Karanja of Kingdom Seekers Fellowship Tikaro.
The more you draw near to God, the more you become sanctified.
For anointed, uplifting and spirit-filled messages.
Lakini lazima ujue huu kweli.
This and every Friday at 7:30 p.m.
Kwa nini mambo mengine sisi ambao tumeokoka bado naombea lakini haitendeki? Because the enemy akona, the accuser anaweza kawa na legal ground.
And a repeat on Saturday at 9:30 p.m.
You repent, and a deep repentance. Na once umefika kwa comfort zone without your knowledge, unaweza kujipata ya kwamba umezima moto wa Roho Mtakatifu. Kile kinachozaliwa kupitia kwa maombezi kinaweza kikadumishwa na maombezi.
Only on MBCI TV, transforming lives.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
I tell you, hapa ikiwa ni ndani ya Men Matters Friday, na ikiwa ni this good Friday, by the way, let me tell you, this Friday is good.
Amen.
This Friday is good. As in, yale mambo tunazungumzia hapa is not just a good Friday, but this Friday is good. Amen. Hapa tunazungumza mambo ya an ideal man. And let me tell you, mambo tumezungumza hapa na mambo nimesikia hapa from the very beginning. Imeanza kuniambia kwamba hapa today kuna mambo tuna shape, you know? Kuna wanaume sio wanaume peke yake, lakini kuna wanaume tunachonga. The way that we are aligning waweze kuingiana to a certain sphere and a certain muonekano fulani, you know, so that we may have a more cohesive society, by the way, and very important on that. Now, tuko na Pastor Wagala Hodari ambaye ni a counseling psychologist, na kuna mambo mengi sana hapa ameweza kutuambia about the man, and pia tuko hapa na Madam Helen Gige who is a teacher, yeah, and also an educational psychologist. Na kuna mambo mengi tunaulizana hapa, and the question that we are asking you msikilizaji wetu na mtazamaji wetu is, what are the indicators of an ideal man? What are the indicators of an ideal man? Na tukasema mambo mengi hapa, and tumeangalia about provision, tumeangalia about the masculinity of a man and all that. But then I want us to rudi nyuma kidogo, pia tuko na vile mambo yako kwa ground. Ni kama there is an ideal man and the real man. Yes. Now, what's the difference between the ideal man and the real man? Before we come back to Madam Helen, akitueleza what are some of the compromises that we should take in choosing between the real and the ideal.
Okay, the ideal man is that picture of the idea of God when he was creating the man. That man who is there has a vision, who knows what he's doing, he knows what is expected of him in the society. But I said that mambo ni tofauti kwa ground kwa sababu we have men kwa ground. People do not understand their role as a man in the house. Whether it's a young man who is having a girlfriend somewhere, whether it's a man who is married somewhere. You know, there's something that at my age can raise my eyebrow when you move around. For example, I was using a public transport somewhere from Nairobi, and then I'm seated next to a young man and a young lady. And this young man ameanza ku throw up kwa sababu ya movement ya gari. That is normal.
A young man.
That young man. That can happen to anybody. But you see the way
common with the young man.
Not necessarily common with the young man, but it can happen to anybody.
Okay, yes.
Because there are people who just board a vehicle and then they start.
Very true.
But the way this young man was playing victim to the girlfriend, because I don't think that was the wife, to the girlfriend, I look at it like I say now, surely, which generation is this? She was playing the victim. Anaitwa, babe, how are you? You know, you have to be hard. As a, you know, mambo kwa ground ni tofauti ndio, lakini you cannot, as a man, even because ladies need the security. They need somebody who. So, babe, gari nazimama. Yani, this lady was doing everything.
So the lady became the man.
The lady lao, okay, anaweza kuwa tuseme ni mgonjwa kwa sababu the man ni mgonjwa.
And throw up.
Ni mgonjwa. But that's not even how you behave when wewe ni mgonjwa. Unaonyesha kwamba ni kweli. So we have men with emotional imbalance.
Yes.
You know, they don't rise up to the occasion.
Yes.
They don't show leadership. They don't show that they are there. You know, normally, even if you walk with your friend or your girlfriend, you're a man. Na unaona hizi video hata kwa social media video. Mtu akikugusa madamu ana expect nini? Ana expect kwamba I will be there.
Yes.
Si ni kweli nikasema wewe nani? Chunga sana. In fact, kule mahali natoka wanasema mtu mwenye amekushinda tu ndio anaharibu vitu ya mama yako, lakini unatoa excuse.
Yes.
Unasema mama wewe pia unaweka vitu mbaya. Lakini kama ingekuwa umemshinda, unaonyesha ile nguvu na kusema kwamba nani? Unacheza na mama ya nani? So kwa ground we have men who they don't want to live to the occasion.
Yes.
Even the young people. You know, I want to challenge even the ladies also. In as much as there is that imbalance, emotional imbalance, and some men are leave alone the drugs, leave alone the use of the alcoholism and all those things. We can also have a bare minimum in relationship. This one is now for the ladies also. Mm-hmm. Look for the bare minimum. If you are looking for, it might not be an ideal man, but look for the bare minimum. Because if you have somebody who is God-fearing, hii ni mtu ako church. Hii ni mtu hata unaona vile ametumikia Mungu pale ama anatumikia kwa community na nini. Na hii ni mtu yenye unaona this is a responsible person. So you look at the sixth eye and you can get this person. He might not be the perfect person, but look for this person.
Okay, Pastor Wagala, that is in order kabisa. Nimeona ndio kuna the real situation as it is. Na umesema you've introduced something very important, and that is actually transiting us to Madam Helen. Tukiangalia now some of the compromises that one should be willing to make. You know, even in looking for this ideal man. But I beg to ask, this God-fearing, you know, I was interacting in the story the other day of a very God-fearing man, a man of the cloth, mwenye karibu amepiga bibi, hadi akalead to a first miscarriage, a second miscarriage, and then mtoto sasa the third pregnancy inakuwa successful, mtoto anazaliwa, lakini hata karibu awe mtoto bado. You know, wife battering, Now this person is a man of the cloth. So I beg to kind of have some other lenses.
I agree with you, sir.
The God-fearing also with other lenses.
I agree with you. Before Ellen comes in, yes. You know, we are talking about the true fear of God here.
Aha.
You know, there are people, I may be a pastor, na niliangukanga kitambo. Sini kweli. Ilibaki ni title.
Yes.
Na ilibaki ni kusimama pa. And God is so gracious.
Yes.
God is so gracious that unaweza kuanguka na bado unasimama mbele ya watu wake na bado mamiracle na nini zinafanyika. I'm talking about somebody who really know that God is everything. Yes. And in this situation of a bare minimum, it's not the God-fearing only that I had said. You are only overemphasizing that, but I said other characters.
Yes.
Somebody who is anaweza kuserve the society, hata unaona to discipline. Now, this relationship, it boils down to the direction of God. If you are religious enough, seek the direction of God. He might guide you. He will show you there's some direction. Na hata kama ulikuwa unaenda kumaka kufanya makosa, we have guided people. I will not mention names, but there was one of the couples that we gave clear warnings, because even God was warning us, was showing us that, but nobody would listen. Then after 3 months, they called me to intervene. Mambo imechemuka. So unawambia sasa Mungu awapatie ne? Because sasa mumeshaingia ndani, hakuna kutoka. Si kweli? You know, unaweza ku break even engagement. Unaweza kutoroka harusi kwa pulpit, ndio? It's allowed. Kama it's allowed. Kama karibu kunaunganishwa.
Lakini kidole iko hapa nasema
unasema tafadhali
acha tuniachana.
Ni wajana na utoroke. That might be understandable, but ukishaingia hiyo sasa, we have to go to the scriptural aspect. How do you get out of that? And what does God expect? So fear of God is different, is one of it. Yes. But there are others that you look at.
The genuine fear of God.
The genuine fear of God.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So Madam Helen.
Yes.
Now kando na hiyo sasa fear of God, which is now the genuine one. Kwa sababu sometimes mtu anaweza kuwa ndiye huyo anaogopa Mungu kabisa. Lakini ni slothful, hata kufanya kazi ni mbivu kabisa. As in, by the ampenda Mungu sana, lakini pia kwa sababu ameona Helen anafanya kazi, Helen ako na biashara, na nikiendelea kupenda Mungu kabisa, ni kama naweza nikanishika hii na hii kuwe the source of maisha yangu itakuwa iko sorted. As in, ni kama you act like kama insurance.
So let me start from where we talked about pretense, that a man can pretend for a time so that to get a target. So I can say that I don't want to be misunderstood here. I said we are not perfect, yes, but kuna vitu zenye you can't tolerate. The first thing ni violence. Tafadhalini, ladies. There are some things that you cannot tolerate. Mtu akianza mangumi na hata hajakuweka kwa nyumba, surely. Akikuweka huko na kuambia, hey, utawekwa kwa debe. Na ufunikiwe huko na usaulike. So that is one of the things that you cannot tolerate. What I meant is that kama wealth, Monero talked about the 6 figures. Unajua, like, you can see this person is hardworking. Hanaweza kuwa hana sahi, but later on, Mungu akiwabariki na unaona at least the future akona hiyo vision, of course utapata. So kuna vitu zingine zenye you can see hana sahi, but later on they will get. Sawa. So I think kuna vitu zingine zenye haufai. Kwanza nowadays young boys, I mean in high school, wanajiingiza kwa mambo ya criminal gang activities so that wapate pesa ya haraka. And this pesa ni ya nini? Ya kufurahisha girlfriend. So wewe utafurahia hiyo pesa saa hiyo, lakini hujui kwenye imetoka. Alafu later on ndio hizo mangumi zinaanza kutembea, because now you get yours rightfully, na huyu naye ni mlezi, anataka kupata ya haraka, and that is what has been happening in our society. So if you think that this boy anakutreat ndo unampenda, that is not something to admire. It's not something to look at. So you look at first the character of the person, and character involves discipline. How disciplined is this person? Because this person anaweza kuwa God fearing, yes, lakini yeye anaomba tu na he's not hardworking, hayuko ambitious, hana hiyo vision. So in as much as unaweza kuwa yes truly God fearing, kuna other things zenye unafaa kuongezea kwa hiyo God fearing yako, like in Job 29. Now I'm there. The man yenye ladies come out. Sawa, mwenene endelea.
Now that's all right. Unajua, Pastor, yes, I know the Job 29 she's talking about. Yes. It's
the real idea.
It's a replica of the proverb that one woman.
Exactly.
So wale yule ulikuwa unasema ya kwamba we need now the problem that one woman is actually anakuja ku compliment the man.
Yes.
The man ana compliment is the man in Job 29.
Yes. That man.
Yes.
Who is that
Not
man?
any other. That
Okay.
one.
I agree with Helen.
Yes.
It's all about the expectation of what a man, because Proverbs 29, Job 29 talks about that ideal man, the man that when he appears, he inspires the young people. I think that's what we are talking about basically. But now I had said that we have that, although there is no perfection sometimes, but we have that. But different is that hakuna kwa ground. We are talking about now we are inspiring these young people, especially who would want to get into the relationship, so that what is the bare minimum they are supposed to be looking for?
No.
What is the bare minimum?
Pastor, I have an issue here, and I think I'll pick this issue with the ladies, and represented by the lady in the house.
Yes.
Ladies. Why is it that unajua by then nyinyi mna-encouraging watu wasikuwe wazuri?
Really?
They like the bad boy.
Why do they like
Why
the
is
bad
it?
boy?
Kwa nini mnapenda the bad? You know, wale watu sasa mwenye amekaa kichwa ngumu, huyo unakuta you find a very good young man. Hana maneno. Yani mwenye ukimwangalia unaweza kusema now this is almost the picture of perfection that you expect in a young man.
Average.
Unakuta on average ni kama wana shughuli naye sana. Wale ukiona yule jamaa mwenye anakaa ni mrui, unajua najua umeongea na vijana siku hizi kwa yule mrui. You know somebody that mtu ambaye anakaa ni kama shiki huku. Mtu ambaye anakaa kuwa anaweza kuwa hata like even a member of some organized gang somewhere. As in you cannot even trace what they do necessarily. But because amekuja na some posh car kidogo na ni aka haya of course. Amekaa na gari ya kaa haya kidogo ama ya beshte fulani and all that, mna flows around, mnaenda mnakunywa sometimes. But there is like a very good gentleman kako mahali. Hakuna mtu akona shughuli yake. Ni kama siku ya shughuli ya huyu jamaa itakuja when now you start considering marriage.
I think
Tell us.
that is deception of the highest order.
Really?
Because we don't
That
like
ladies
bad,
have, yes.
you know, hiyo ni kuwa deceived because wewe unataka hiyo short term enjoyment but you're not looking at the long term. Sasa huyu mwenye anachukua huyu bad boy, it's not with the intention that ataoleka. Yeye anataka kuenjoy hii short term.
Yes.
Abebwe na hizo magari kubwa kubwa, akuwe na pesa. But when you look at a serious person who is looking for a serious marriage partner, a committed Christian, they would not go for such kind of men because they understand that this is short term. And as I told you in the beginning,
but they say life is for the living.
No. In fact, that is a lie. And you see, very few people, how many people are successful? In fact, I ask people, kama hii mambo ya betting na nini, kama how many are successful? Watu wangapi wanapiga simu hiyo, let me use that word, hii huwa tunatumiwa messages confirmed. Watu wangapi wanakuwa successful ya kuibia wengine? Very few, si ndio? So hata akiwa successful ya kuibia 1 million, how long are they going to enjoy
How sustainable is it?
Yes, exactly. So you see, you have to look at the bigger picture. So this is just short term, ni ya kudeceive, and that is what now the media wants us to see. Like unaona kwa social media vile watu wamejienjoy, they have this and this and they cannot say exactly penye wametoa. You see, so the media also can influence either negatively or positively, sindio? So that we don't publicize these negative images whereby we don't publicize that wasichana wanapenda the bad boys. Let us bring out now the ideal men in the society, the role models like in Pastor Wagala hapa wenye wamesimama, they are doing the right things and they can advise, they can mentor these young ones, those who are making decisions and so forth and so forth.
Maybe I ask a question. unajua maybe many ladies possibly wanawafuata kwa sababu kuna hiyo gratification, the short term gratification. But I tend to think, maybe Pastor Wagala, now from the psychologist's point of view, could it be that maybe hawa tunaona the bad boys, that there are maybe some attributes that they have that attract the female gender? That maybe hawa wengine wenye wako cool, kuna kitu maybe wana forsake to wale wana take advantage of it, wana exploit, so that ukimwangalia haupendi kile anafanya, but you like the person who the person is to start with.
Okay. I will respond in the following aspect. By the grace of God, I've been able to be a facilitator in one of the colleges of psychology around. And one of the topics that I was given to teach was the human growth and development. So you study a person from conception, they are being born, after being born, stages from year 1 to year 6 to to adolescence, to 30, 35, to after 65. After 65, psychologists don't study you so much. Tumekuacha sasa bambane na hali. So proceed above 65. Now, this aspect you are talking about is very psychological because, when somebody gets into adolescence, that age, puberty, adolescence, that age, this thing is universal. The way it is in the US is the way it is in Africa, because we are human. We are human beings. That's the truth of it. Yes. So, you get to adolescence, as you proceed further, there are some that happen to you. There are changes that happen to you biologically, emotionally, all those things. Young people at that age love risky things. They love, and that, yani wanapenda vitu sasa ya kujionyesha watu ya nguvu. Ya kuchemusha, because akili pia imechemuka na mambo ingine, they are going out of hand. Damu iko moto. Damu iko moto, wacha nitumie hiyo. Damu iko moto. So you give it to them kwa sababu these bad boys, they don't have ati ungwana the way it is. They bring the aspect of fun. But now this young man who is just cool, whatever, those ladies in that bracket will not go for that. So they go for that because, first of all, it is part of human growth and development. It is the biologically, there's changes in the emotional changes, the biological changes, and all those things. Now, hiyo sio wa Kenya, hiyo ukienda Tanzania ni the same, ukienda Europe, hiyo watoto ni the same, wasungu hiyo. That is why psychological study is universal. So that is why it happened the way it happened. So they are risky because they are biologically, they tend to get to the risky things. That is why the young people, you will see, utasikia umeenda road trip, lakini after 4 years after your road trip atasema na nini ilikuwa inanisumbua jamani, nini ilikuwa inanisumbua. So they are settling down. Now we are talking about now these ones who have gone through the fun, all those things, because even us, we went through some of these things. And if I tell you my story, I may not get there. I'm not that perfect. And that is why, it is good to, when we teach the human growth and development, it is good, and that is why I thank God for the churches we have in Kenya, where they take the program of the young people very seriously. Young people can have fun, but in the confinement of the church and the God-fearing of what you still can have fun. But now some of us, we had the fun in a wrong way. But this is a human being who is growing. Thank you, sir.
Now, maybe I ask, kama kijana, today you are in the church. To what limits can you have this fun Limits that, number one, will not dishonor God.
Yes.
Limits that will retain heshima ya wazazi, na and the wazee, the elderly. And fun that will also itakuinua, itakuchangamsha, as a group or even as an individual, and you still retain your self-worth.
Okay, it's boiled down to the leadership in the church. Me as the pastor now, you as the youth pastor, us as the leadership of the church. Young people will always test you. They will stretch you. They want to see that the extent through which you are going to guide them. Kuna vitu watapima tu wewe akili na kusema wacha tuone kama pasi atasema nini. So if you give leadership and they know, wanajua ukienda hapo pastor atakangi tufike namna hiyo, tufike hapo. And you see those fans, they can be the leadership and the creativity of the leadership in the church, especially the youth pastors. They are able to guide the young people to go through the process of the human growth and development, and they still can have fun in the fear of the Lord. In my days, before I got saved, we were doing our things. But after I got saved, I was still a young man. I was a youth leader in the church. And I was more tough than even the pastor to the young people, because I already seen what happened in the uko inje na uko ndani. So I would guide them, and they were fearing me more than even the pastor, because wanasema wewe wakala akikupata ukifanya hiyo itakuwa mambo mbaya. The reason is you are able to guide people and you help them to have fun. Because sasa ukiorganize a trip, a retreat, mwende swimming Lake Baringo huko, si mtu atakuwa amekuwa fun, amekuwa na fun. Lakini nowadays ilikuwa ni kwamba so restrictive that mimi tukiwa mimi huyu ni fiancé yangu, just for example, tafadhali, we were not expected even to be seen together. Women in the church would report to the pastor, Wagala na Jennifer wameonekana town. It was unheard of. You were supposed to do this thing under the guidance of somebody. Hata mkipanga kila kitu. Lakini siku hizi, you give it to these young people because you trust, you teach them and you tell them, now, this is what is expected of you. So that sometime hata kama unasema kwamba wanapanga harusi tayari na wanaenda kuangalia fundi yao, hata wakikutana kwa fundi huko, you expect kwamba they are mature enough. Things are also changing, and we're not compromising the word. We're only saying that these young people, the way things are now, their information that they may be having, that they know, which some of us huko nyuma hatukujua, hatukukuwa naye.
It's true.
I'm saying human growth and development, tusifike mahali to deny that aspect kwamba tumeingia kwa phase ingine. Usiplay hapa stagnation sana. For example, I want to give this example. Finally, before my colleague, mhubiri microphone kutoka ni ngumu.
Sasa nataka kunyang'anya.
Kunyang'anya mimi after this statement. We must be able to transit. I was traveling. I was having some youth. And I was challenging them that leadership inafika mahali una go beyond bracket to the government. 5 things different as a human growth and development. Nilikuwa na travel Kisumu to Kitale. Alafu imebaki mtu mmoja kwa matatu na tumepata mtu mmoja huyo, lakini si lady na anasindikizwa na another young man. Sasa imagine, sasa tuko 13 na tunangoja tu huyo mtu mmoja, lakini nako hapo na haingii ile story wanapiga haingii. Alafu sasa wakianza hugging, sasa hugging yenye haishi hiyo. Ndio vitu sasa kwa kanisa as leadership pia tunaambia vijana, this hugging yenye haishi hiyo sio hugging, hiyo ni mambo ingine inachemusha mwili. So amalisi. So wakati this lady alimaliza akaingia, mimi tu ndio unajua na I'm outspoken, nikasema na umetuchelewesha. That lady is the lady who helped me to transit from now a youth to Muse. Alisema Muse, aliniita Muse. Muse tulia. I went to along that journey ya Kitale, nikasema surely kwani nimechapa namna hii? Paka mpaka nika accept kwamba nao kweli nikaanza kuthink kwamba kama msee. Unaona? So hiyo imenisaidia. Lakini we have to transit. Tukiona the bad boys vile Ellen anasema. Kuna vitu wanasemanga inafurahisha ladies at that particular time. That's why we need to guide this our ladies.
That's exactly the point. Guide, because in as much as we are saying it is a growth and development, then have the correct guidance.
Yes.
Like an information or in an age of information, isn't it? So when they are guided, then they will know what is expected of them and they will act accordingly.
Yes.
So when they know that hii pesa tuna enjoy sahi inaweza kuwa imetoka mahali kwingine ambako si kuzuri, inaweza destroy my destiny, the seed of greatness in me, then they would not go into that. That is why we teach assertiveness. That is to say no. The power to say no. So make their own independent decisions. Let them know themselves. Wajijue, they know where they want to be. They know their ambitions, what they want to be in future, and they'll end up making the right decision. So I totally agree with you, and I say that it starts from birth, by the way. It starts from tumerudi sasa nyuma as psychologists. Now inaanza kwa hiyo growth and development mpaka sasa tupate this ideal man.
All right, now there's a question I want us to look at briefly kidogo about the compromises that especially ladies you are willing to make, areas that you can say of course mimi nataka mtu akona these 10 qualities, but I can take a person without 7 but with only these 3. Because kuna kile ambacho Pastor Wagala ametuambia, kuna there's the ideal man we are talking about, na kuna vile mambo iko kwa ground. And by the way, and again now from that there's something else I want us to look at, Pastor Wagala. And it is something on especially the young people, the young men that we are having. Why is it that it's becoming even very easy for them to be recruited into criminal gangs, to be recruited into some very unlawful activities? Wengine hata unasikia wengine labda wameanza kufikiria mambo ya kuingia hata into violence and all those kind of things. Maybe that's something else that I want us to look at. But before that, Madam Helen, what are maybe some of the major compromises that you as a lady are willing to make? Now, of course, I know you are speaking from this other side of the fence. Sasa mimi nataka ujirudishe a few years, not very many years back. Now, those few years back, ujiweke katika viatu sasa za msichana. What were some of those compromises that you or a lady maybe to enter into marriage, into a relationship with a gentleman mwenye hana kila kitu, lakini there are those things that I can call the bare minimums. What are they?
I say first of all, I start by congratulating the ladies because actually tunavumilia mengi, and some of them what tunavumilia in the hope that things would change, and unfortunately some of them don't. So utakuta for example a man mumeanza chini, maisha ya chini. So of course you would want those fancy, we would want to kuishi kukana mtu akona 6 figure, akona magari na nini, but as per now hana Ziko. But unajua with the time itakuja. So there are those sacrifices that we make. Most of us tulianza chini, I can say that, but sahi unakuta watu wanataka kuanza juu. Wanasema maisha ni life is for the living, but that is not the ideal situation, could not be the case for most of us, because you start by struggling. So first of all kunaweza kuwa na hiyo financial struggles, so hiyo unaweza vumilia. Kunaweza kuwa pia na maybe masomo, maybe hajafikia, maybe you wanted mtu amesoma nini, maybe hajafikia, that one you can
you can work on it later.
You can work on it, and I cannot finish. There are so many other things. Kunaweza kuwa maybe na character development mahali penye unaona okay si mbaya sana, lakini okay maybe vile anakuwa influenced, lakini ako willing to change.
Like hii hatuwezi vumilia. There's one that we had mentioned about violence. Now, kando na violence, mtu kukua na turn violent. What other maybe one or two aspects of character that tunasema hii na hii tunaweza tuka work on, lakini hii na hii come what may, this one cannot EIS make.
I think you can't pinpoint really because it depends with the person. Unajua kuna ule mtu anakuambia ninataka kutoka, nahitaji usaidizi. You know, even in counseling, amechoka, anakunywa hiyo social drink nini na anataka kusaidiwa. Unajua that is different from a person unaweza tolerate ndio ana drink but is not willing to get out of that situation. Unaona? So there are a number of things zenye zinaweza affect mtu. Kuna hizo challenges zenye mtu anaweza kuwa na anapitia. Maybe decision making, choosing friends, nini, but ako willing. And those are the things that tunaangalia, huyu mtu ako willing kuchange. Ako willing, so tuko hapo in the hope that ata change.
So maybe this person who is a social drinker, I would think that this would apply maybe to somebody that is already in marriage, because I expect kama ni mtu ndio unatafuta mke ama mme, and especially you are a Christian, you should have nothing to do with somebody that is drinking, hata kama ni drink for fun.
But unaona huyu mtu anaweza kuwa reform, like we said, you know, you cannot uwezi sema mtu mwenye ana act na mtu mwenye ako kweli anaweza wacha so that akupate.
The ideal and the real person. Yes. So you'd rather get married to the real person. Yes. You work on that character. No. As Pastor Wagala said, at least akuwe na hiyo willingness. Sasa kama amewachana, ameamua, ameokoka, amebadilisha mienendo zake, now that one unaweza sema sasa utamu encourage. Unaona? So that is different. Yes.
Right. Yes. So I want to just add something before we get to some of the things that drive the young people into criminal gangs and other things that you have already asked. Human growth and development. A lady gets out of university very specific about the man, the ideal man that he wants, with very clear attributes. There are so many. Normally there are so many. When it gets to 30, 35, you know, you say this one I can work with, this one delete. Figure whatever, delete. So remain with the basics. That's why we are saying the bare minimum. When this lady turns 40, and with the pressure of society, you know, like in my place where I come from, I will not tell you where, but our uncles used to be very thorough, especially following up on some of our aunties who had akifika 40 wale wazee hata saa zingine hawataki kukuja nini matanga manini, because lazima ataulishwa my girl hakuna kijana na anamwambia mbele ya watu na amefika 40. You know, ukianza na hii list at 29 na ufike 40 45, at 45 now, ladies, most of the ladies, I think, the list itakuwa imepotea. Sema tu, we can. Even these young people who are having their list to development, mahali themselves. Those who are religious enough. No, we are not talking about all the people who are born again in Kenya or ni watu wana watch wengi sana hata wenye sio wa Kristo, si ni kweli? But in the on the side of those who are born again, or those who are Christian, seek God when you are looking for a partner. That is it. Now, some of the things that drive young people into criminal gangs, there are so many of them. First of all, they may be looking for an ideal life. That pressure, wanafikiria kwamba kwa hiyo gang, normally they have a promise kwamba kuja tutengeneze pesa. Like in our Nakuru situation, we had this famous criminal gang called Confirm. you know, they were using technology to defraud people of many things. So they can even convince young people kuja tutengeneze pesa hapa. Unaenda shule ya nini? Vitu kama hizo. Na tena mtoto nyumbani iko shida. Chakula hakuna vizuri. Na apart from chakula, wazazi wako na violent huko chini. Sasa nyumbani haikaliki. So mtoto ana look out for other things. But even at that age, ile nilisema, pia sometimes they just look for those kind of things, and now they become very vulnerable. Now we get even radicalization taking place because even the Al-Shabaab, the team, all those kind of groups, they come and they promise them things that they are not. Wakienda huko ground, mambo ni tofauti huko, so wanatafuta njia. But we tell and essentially I've been able to talk to the counseling psychologists which we have in Nakuru and in Kenya. Generally I want to make an appeal to them that there is always a way out. When we are dealing with our clients, we have 4 areas of where confidentiality is what drives counseling psychology in the therapy room. Confidentiality, that is an ethic that is very important. But now there are 4 areas where that confidentiality can be broken, and I'm appealing to our the counselors who are dealing with the clients that if your client is dealing with mambo ya terrorism, that confidentiality cannot be guaranteed, and we are challenging them whether if you are in Nakuru, there is a place where you can report that, because that one you cannot guarantee that client confidentiality. You can report to the county commissioner's office, and then you will be guided accordingly, because now there's a level where these people get to, this criminal gang, the terrorists get to, where now a counselor cannot handle.
It's true.
Another area where you can break confidentiality is when things are already in the public domain. Imeandikwa kila mahali mwanene. Sasa mimi huwezi ukasema ni pastor alisema. Huwezi sema, ni kweli? Ama if you want to hurt yourself, you know, we tell these people when they come to the therapy room, we tell them before we start counseling, tunasema if you want, kama umekuja hapa unataka kujiua, sasa I will not assure you of confidentiality. I might report to the police because I already want to kill somebody. You know, those kind of aspects. But I'm telling the counselors that there's a way we can report. There's a way we can report those issues. But the criminal gangs are taking toll on our young people. We are messing up a generation. And I'm praying that God is going to grace us in this nation.
Now, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Could it be that it is a problem of our creating in this manner, that we have raised the bar too high on our expectations for an ideal man? There is this young man that we expect to see in the society. This 25-year-old, this 30-year-old, mwenye ako stable, mwenye ako the fallback plan of the society. The family ikikataa kufanya kazi nyumbani, or rather if the kukataa kufanya kazi, you know, this is direct translation nayo inakuwa na shida. If the family does not work, if the family is not functional, so baba hana kazi, mama ni mgonjwa, the sisters wamefukuzwa shule, so we are looking up to this 33-year-old assort all those things. Na sasa tunasema that is now the hallmark of responsibility. The 29-year-old hata hatujajua kama ako na kazi, lakini tunajua ako Nakuru, tunajua ako Nairobi, tunajua alienda Kisumu, and for that ako in a city, lazima kuwe na pesa. Could it be that it is through that maybe tuna push these young people too far or too much, so much pressure, wanaanza kujikuta any opening that comes, they are willing to take it, even if ni ya kuhatarisha maisha ya wengine.
It is true. And that pressure is real. It's real. It comes from the parents. It comes from the society. That expectation. But now, this young person is having pressure. It's pressure from the society, pressure from the parents, pressure from the peers.
And the wife who wants a very expensive wedding.
All those things. Now,
I mean not the wife, the girlfriend.
The girlfriends. I understand what you are saying. Yes. But now you see that pressure. That is why we have an increased tendency, suicidal tendencies. Because this pressure drives this young man now. What is there for me now? Society anatarajia hii, girlfriend anatarajia hii, the peers wanatarajia hii, is not able to end to make the end meet the ends. Now sisi kama watumishi wa Mungu, pia sisi naye tuko na pressure yetu to the young people. tunatengeneza crusade pale Kaptembwa na unanguruma na una condemn some of the. Sasa this young man anasema now which is the direction, and that's why we have an increase in the societal tendency in our society today. But we tell young people, you don't need to die. There is hope for tomorrow. We don't need to give up. Don't throw in the towel. There is always, you can always make it.
Mwanaume akae ngumu.
Hata kama sio hiyo mambo ya, because I know you are, unasema hiyo ndio unipin down somewhere. Nasema tu kwamba wajaribu. Najua unaniambia hiyo ndio sasa unipin huko nyuma hiyo, najua nimekuona 18. Sasa wajaribu, young people wajaribu tu, but you don't need to die tomorrow.
Yes.
Hata there are people who have tried to commit suicide 3 times or 4 times. But mahali wamefika saa hii, hata kama ilikuwa ni alcoholism, wanasema ai, sasa ningekufia nini? There is hope for tomorrow.
And that is why we go back to the assertiveness question. Do you know who you are? Like, the situations might not be favorable. And these people need a lot of life skills training.
Yes.
Because your life skills inakusaidia kucope na your situation. Una develop what you call resilience.
Yes.
Because sasa when you are resilient, you are able to come out of the situation. So I think it's up to us as teachers, as counseling psychologists, as pastors, and to guide these young people, to mentor them, so that because this is tulipitia pia they are able to pass through successfully. There is these stages of development, Erickson, that at every age there is a stage, and that stage there is an issue that must be resolved, and if it is not resolved at that stage, then later on in life we will have problems.
It might recur.
Yes. So like in the adolescence, we have what we call identity and self-discovery versus role confusion. So if this person is not able to identify, that's why we ask them, when you grow up, which career do you want to take? Where do you see yourself in future? So if they are not able to identify, this is the path that, and I thank God for CBC. CBC has really helped us, because we are now able to mold these young ones from the grassroots. So we will work with them. Anajiona in future I will become a scientist. Mine ananiambiaga nataka kuwa scientist, sijui scientist ni nini. So, but at least unaona kuna ile ambition ako nayo.
Yes.
And that is the drive yenye itamfanya akifanya kitu anakumbuka, and this is not how scientists behave.
That
so
is
I
true.
must align myself ndo nifikie hiyo my goal.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow, that is beautiful. And now I am asking this question. Do we have hope? Especially looking at the dire situation that we are in, looking at the hopelessness that we are seeing, especially within the young men. You look at the intoxication, the drug abuse, the alcoholism, the runaway crimes. Most of these things, the perpetrators need young people. Not just young people, but majorly young men.
Yes.
Yeah? Tukiangalia, so basically, the question is there hope? And if there must be a ray of hope, then what should we do?
Okay, let me take that first. There is hope. The Bible says that there is even a hope for a tree that has been cut. It has stoop again. The issue that we have in our nation is that that's why I thank God for the churches and those who genuinely mean to preach the word of God. The word of God is good news in general. We can encourage people. The hope to live for tomorrow is very important. The hope kwamba leo hujakula lakini kesho utapata kitu. Hiyo ni ya muhimu sana. But I find it a little bit there's a disconnect now where our media, both social and mainstream, and even all those other aspects, there is a place where now we have issues also with the media that the level of some of the things that you share. Thank God for MBCI, because your content is is religiously inclined and
very sane conversations.
Those kind of things. So, but we have a problem with the other social media, the access of our young people to some very sites wasumbua akili, because those things can traumatize, especially this pornographic site or all those things. But now we are asking ourselves, we were somewhere in a meeting somewhere and we were discussing about the issue of patriotism. You know, some of us sisi wenye tuliimbia Nyayo mtukufu rais, those kind of things ni kwa high school. There are some songs that zilikuwa sina to shape. Zile wimbo zingine zilikuwa tuna to shape. Asubuhi 5 amuka kumekucha, tabeba jembe na panga, hiyo vitu ukiimba sasa hii Monene anaona kama sijamuka, yani because they shaped us. But now siku hizi media, which hope are you giving? There's a new way of you are doing it. It is true. There's a new way because some patriotism songs may be digital. It is true. Hizo matupabangwingwingwi hizo. Lakini we need to be consistent because they shaped us. They shaped us. They shaped a good number. Hii age yangu kuna wimbo zingine ukiweka hata kwa media inatukumbusha hiyo time. So it gives hope. Inasema kwenda kufanya kazi ni mzuri. Kwenda masomo ni mzuri. So we don't want to soil this thing kwamba ati hata usiposoma, hata ukiwa na standard 8 dropout ama class 3 dropout, ati bora ukuje na mali yenye hata ijulikani umetoa wapi. Sasa ati elimu sio muhimu. We cannot. I'm telling young people there is hope. If you are in school, get the right papers. If you are in school, kuwa na hiyo degree yako, fanya hiyo masters, weka chini ya kabati kwanza, fanya what you are able to do. But kuna siku, ipo siku utaulizwa, bring those papers. It works. So there is a hope for young people.
Wow.
There is hope for young people to seek God.
Yes.
If you are watching me and you are not born again outside there, tafuta Yesu. There are churches where you can even have fun but you still born again and you still continue. Kuna tumaini. Kuna tumaini kwamba mtapata mabibi. Kuna tumaini. Young people, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Kuna tumaini. Mnaenda kuna tumaini.
Yes.
And with the way we are praying and we are asking God to help us, and the government also, with those ministries of dealing with the youth people, young people, they also need to be very serious with their programs.
Yes.
They also need, because they have a place to play. But nyinyi watu ya media mwanze kuweka hizi mawimbo, nataka kusikia hiyo amuka kumekucha.
Mtu ukitaka kupata music mzuri, ukitaka kupata mood uplifting music yenye iko na direction, this is a station, MBCI TV.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, what will you tell us as we come to a closure of this discussion?
You know, it also takes a motivated person for you to motivate. And I want to say that patience pays. I teach that in English. Patience pays. It does. You know, kuna a lot of hopelessness, like giving up easily. Unajua tu mtu anaona now because kwetu hakuna chakula, tumekaa siku 3 hatujakula, ana give up. And that is now ina end up mtu kwenda to take the wrong direction. So I must say, like, as people who have been there, we must do something. Let us encourage these young people. Wacha tuwashike mkono. Naona kama walimu sana unakuta mwalimu anasema huyu hajuangi kuandika. So nani atamfundisha kuandika? Huyu hajuangi kusoma. So unajua you are the person there.
Yes.
So let us mold these people so that tupate huyu ideal man, because it is a process, as we have said. Ni process ya growth and development. Na hata kuna wengine wataingia marriage and bado wako kwa hiyo process ya maturity there. Ukifika 65 ndo tunawachana na wewe, lakini bado uko tu hapo, bado tuko nawe hapa kwa hapa, you are still developing. So are you willing have a teachable spirit?
Yes.
So are you willing to be taught? Are you willing to be molded? Do you have that ambition, that vision? Kuwa na vision kubwa. sema hata vitu yenye hatuelewi. Wewe kuwa tu na hiyo vision, ujue you want to be this.
Uwe na vision madong.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Now we are totally out of time.
This is a quick one and the final one.
The time is actually, we are actually out of time.
Okay.
And Najua, with this discussion, one thing that I know is that we look for some time, maybe some other time, but maybe if it's very burning, in a few seconds.
Yes, in a few seconds, yes. Under 10 seconds. Chinese proverbs. If you want to know the road ahead, ask those who are coming back. Come for counseling, young people.
Wow.
Marital people who are having issues.
Yes.
See a counselor. They have walked the road.
Yes.
They are trained.
Yes.
Wako mbele huko umejua. If you want to know the road ahead, ask those who are coming back. Yes, sir.
Well, that one is that's a great one. And thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, our guest, Pastor Wagara Hodari.
Yes, sir.
Counseling psychologist, and you've done a good job.
Thank you.
And we've been interacting out there, and you're doing an amazing job. Madam Helen Gigi, teacher, educational psychologist. Thank you so very much for making time to be with us here. And our viewers, thank you so very much for always being there. And of course, I cannot forget our director, the studio director, that is Paps, Perpetual Nyambura, and our camera people, Emmanuel Kipto, Wamugi, high five. I see Mary, I see watu wengine wako kule kwa graphics, kina nani, kina John Jitu huko. Thank you so very much. Kina Sylvia Mbote, akiwa pale kwa graphics. Thank you so very much. Mungu awabariki sana. And being a good Friday, now I take this opportunity to wish you a very happy Easter holiday. Now enjoy, but knowing the reason for the season.
Amen.
Christ Jesus in you.
Amen.
Yes.
Salabani imalizikia ni huru kabisa.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Thank you so much and happy Easter.
Amen.